So I'm on my way up to look at a project car. It's about an hour north of me, and I'm on M53. It's up near Capac. And so my friend Dave, who has that 59 El Camino that you saw in a couple videos ago, which he now has on eBay for sale, and I may stop by his place whether I buy the car or not. If I buy it, I'm going to go get him, and he's going to drive the wagon back to his place until I can get it. Yeah, it's a 1967 Ford Country Sedan. It runs and drives, and he saw it yesterday and emailed me some photos of it, and I thought, well, you know, it's absolutely worth going to look at. The price is okay on it, and you know, we'll need some work, but what doesn't, right? So anyway, we're on our way to go check it out, and you'll have a video either way here, whether I buy the car or not. But I'm not going to buy a car sight unseen, and I'm not going to say I'm buying it without looking at it. So yeah, I might walk away from it, but you know, the torque boxes on the chassis are what rot out in that era of cars, so we'll take a good look at it. It's a nice looking car, and looks fairly complete. So anyway, off we go, ripping down the road now to take a look at it. I just want to add this here in this video. There's a lot of video here to add it up, and it's looking at that 67 Ford station wagon, going for Riding Dave's 59 Cadillac, and talking about it, and his 76 Oldsmobile Custom Cruiser station wagon, and his grandfather, who has worked for Fisher Body making the models of the cars back in the day, and some of the things he made over the years, and just kind of a lot of yapping. So it's going to be a long video, but I think most of you will enjoy most all of it. So I don't know if you'll skip through it or not. Hopefully not. Hopefully you'll stick with it. I see a lot of people that put out long videos, and a lot of them that are interesting, and I stick through them too. But anyway, here it is. A little more rural of an area now. Quite nice. Fall color changing. This is the 3rd of October, 2022. Do a little video of just driving along in the country out here. I love it out here. It's really beautiful. Alright, I gotta turn up here, and maybe we'll take a little more video on our way to go look at this station wagon. There's farm equipment and trucks and whatnot that make that corner, turn that corner, and their tire goes off the pavement, and it's an immediate drop. See more vehicles in the ditch there, and you can shake a stick at over the years. Definitely some more fall color out here. I think this is going to be a good year for fall color. A lot of color already for early October. I don't know if that means for a brutal winter or not, but I don't think it really makes a lot of difference. But look at that. It's really beautiful. Just the beginnings. It peaks here around this area of the country around the middle of October, so we're still a couple good weeks away from peak, and yet it looks pretty nice. Looks like they've been harvesting the corn. I guess it is that time of year. But whoops, driving on the yellow stripe there. There they haven't harvested yet, but they're definitely starting to harvest. There's Charlie Brown's pumpkin patch. Yeah, you don't want to go in the ditch here either. You got to pay attention when you drive on some of these country roads. No, I forgot about Blake's Orchard. This is orchard time of year. All the school buses and cars and people here. I guess schools come out here in the fall, so the kids can pick apples and get pumpkins and whatnot. I think that pumpkin patch that we just passed here a mile or so ago is part of this Blake's Orchard complex. Parking lot over there. Yeah, pretty crazy already. The weekends you can't move here. This is just bumper to bumper stop and go. Everyone from the area where I live in the urban areas decides, oh, let's go out to the country and see the fall colors and get a pumpkin, and it's just chaos out here. Traffic out here is 10 times worse than what it is in the urban areas. All right, I gotta make another turn here. There's the apple trees where they're picking apples. All right, this is we got to turn here, and then we'll get to where the station wagon's at. This area here, I kind of know all these country roads like the back of my hand. I used to take the 59 Chevy and cruise around out here when I grew up in Romeo. And when I first got the car, I'd go for long rides in the country, and back then you'd never see another car on the roads. You'd have the road yourself, these beautiful smooth paved roads all to myself. It was nice. Now they're so congested because all the urban sprawl that moved out here kind of somewhat ruined the country area atmosphere, if you ask me. But anyway, I told the guy I'd be there at noon, give or take 15 minutes either way. It looks like we're going to be on the earlier side of the noon, so I guess that's okay. I'll try and get video if he doesn't mind. If he minds, I won't take any video, but I will take some photos with my phone, hopefully. Well, here it is. It's been painted red in there. Dave said the dash was apart. The guy said he was changing the radio. Definitely has some body work needed. Yeah, it needs a whole paint job. Well, I'll really look it over good here, but yeah, it's kind of rough around the edges. Yeah, you can see there. Yeah, I think it needs more work than what I want to do for the money he's asking for it. The gas tank looks like it's still... Yeah, the wagon's the gas tank's in the quarter panel. It's been patched up. See all the patching there. It's not bad though. I mean, it's a totally restorable car, but it needs, that's all been fiberglassed. Oh, this looks like it's been... Yeah, it's rough for the price. That must be the radio he was trying to put in it. Hopefully he still has the original stuff to put the radio back. The original one. He still has it. Oh, doesn't have any weather stripping on the bottom of the door. That one's painted and some of it's missing. Yeah, this has all been puttied up, so I'd probably have to cut all this out and weld in new. Yeah, I think I'm going to pass on this one. Let me get the hood opened here. Said it hasn't been running right. It's like he says it's not getting enough air. Got a dual master cylinder. Power steering. 67 was the first year for that. Got the Cruise-O-Matic in it, like the 66 Galaxy had. Alright, I'm going to crawl around under it. I'm not going to video that part. There's all the codes and whatnot off the door jamb. Yeah, the carpet I think has been shot up front. See, it's got this screwed under the sill. These things have been spray painted and kind of beat up. And yeah, I think this car is going to take way more work than what I want to put into it for what it'll sell for. It does have the luggage rack. These need to be re-chromed. I mean, you know, if you wanted to make it a showstopper, you'd have to get all the chrome done, put a new paint on it, do like I did the Galaxy, and then it's worth $15,000, maybe $20,000. If it was a Country Squire and the wood grain was good, yeah, I might be tempted to make him an offer, but he's asking $5 grand for it. I'd offer him maybe $3, and because it just needs so much work. Painted this trim. Those vents are so cool. They blow the air around here through here to keep your rear window clean, because you know you get the draft up on wagons and it gets the windows dirty, which the window works. You got to put the window all the way down to open the tailgate, so I'm not going to open, but it is a door gate. It'll open as a door and down, and it looks like a 6-passenger. There's no seats in there, but that is still spackle painted down in there. Inside here is actually pretty good. The spare tires under that panel. The headliner's halfway decent. It's been glued up. Yeah. Alright, I think I've seen what I wanted to see. I think it's more work than what I want to tackle, but it was definitely worth looking at. It needs a whole paint job. It needs some body work. Needs a lot of interior work and probably a fair amount of mechanical work. Anyway, I am going to go knock on the guy's door and talk to him, but I don't think I'm going to buy the car. Alright, well, I decided not to buy the station wagon. It just needed the amount of money I would have to dump into it for the return I would get. It wouldn't be cost effective. Even if I gave the guy $2,500 or $3 grand for the car, it just needed way too much work to, you know, make it worth more than what he's already asking, $5 grand. I mean, if you were looking for a 67 Ford Country Sedan specific, it's worth every penny of the $5 grand. And the undercarriage was solid, the frame boxes, chassis, everything was solid. The differential carrier had been out. You could see silicone, the incorrect type of silicone sealer sealing it in, so that's going to have to come out, or it's going to leak in the future to put the correct sealer or gasket on it. The gas tank looked like it had been repaired on the bottom with some type of sealer, and he said that the engine hadn't been running good. It like loads up, so you know, he didn't have the original carburetor. I'd like the original carburetor to rebuild instead of putting that. You know, you get rebuilt carburetors, they're not always that great. I like the original ones. I like to rebuild them myself, set them all up exactly to factory spec, and then they usually perform their best. When you put these rebuilds on, they're never adjusted properly, and people throw them on, adjust the idle speed, and figure they're good. Well, you know, I could probably go through and set it up to factory specs and it would be okay, but the original air cleaner was missing, and the original wiper blades, the metal stainless wiper blades were missing. It had those ugly black, you know, modern plastic ones like what this has on it. But this came with them, so it's different. And the Galaxy or the Country Sedan didn't. So anyway, we're off. We're gonna swing by Dave's really quick. I'm gonna pay him a visit. The El Camino isn't there, but he does have it for sale. It's on eBay, and if you wish to see the eBay auction, I'll leave a link in the description to it, and I put a link in the comments on the video 2 videos ago that the El Camino is in, and that was when I came out this way to buy that tricycle for that Rio project. But anyway, I've really enjoyed my ride out in the country. I'll get to visit with Dave a little bit, and then I'll head home. But yeah, it was worth looking at the wagon. It was worth the trip to look at it. You don't know, you know, then you regret, oh, why didn't I go look at that, you know, and regret not looking at it. So yeah, I took the time and drove up to look at it. It was worth going to look at it, but it was just not something that I would lose money on it. I wouldn't be able to make any money. You need a whole new interior. The interior needed, you know, which I could do, but it needed a whole paint job. All the weather stripping needed to be replaced. A lot of the chrome was in bad shape, you know, and that chroming is expensive now with you know, with the EPA. The federal government has just driven the cost of chrome plating out of sight. So anyway, we're off. We got we're on Bell River Road, and this is really, runs along the Bell River, so it's kind of twisty and windy like this. And I just like it out here. It's just kind of a neat area. We're heading towards Memphis. We're between Capac Road and Memphis right now. So yeah, this was one of the roads I used to bring the Bel Air and go out for rides in the country on too, because it was just a relaxing road. You can see not a lot of traffic, and yet it's a good road, and it's got curves and twists, and in the Bel Air, when you see these curve signs like 50, you're doing 50 in them, and that's that. This truck, I could probably do 70 in these curves, but you know, I'm not going to, because I want to enjoy the drive. But the old cars, yeah, those signs, when they give a speed for a curve, you better be doing that speed for that curve. Now we're in the big city. This is Riley Center. We're crossing Riley Center Road right here. And just give you an overview of the size of the little community we're in. Not very big, is it? That was a long red light. Yeah, gas is creeping up again, starting to skyrocket again. Should fill up here. It's 418. It's like almost 440 down my way. Yeah, I probably will fill up before I head on home. But anyway, that was downtown Memphis, Michigan. I like your XL 250 here.
Yeah, I ride that all the time.
I've been riding my XL 175 a lot.
Go on back roads and
it's in good shape.
You know, there's one on Craigslist right now, identical to this. Same thing. His battery cover fell off.
Yep.
It's got them little rubber grommets.
Yep, and the plastic deteriorates, and they
fell off it. I mean, I drive this thing on the back roads all the time.
This is what I'd like to have right here that I can put, because I ride it locally to run around.
Got nowhere to put something.
Yeah.
Just put a backpack on or something.
Right, that's what my brother was like, put a backpack on. But I like this idea better. It looks more authentic to this era bike. You saw that. You know, you saw people with these racks back in that era. Sure. And they put milk crates on them.
This is my...
That's period correct.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I keep this around because I figure if it really does hit the fan, it'd be nice to own a vehicle that gets like 100 miles to the gallon, you know?
Yeah, my 175 gets 100.
So I can run up to the store and get milk and eggs and put them in the milk crate. But I
pay $20 for a gallon of milk.
Yeah. You know what? I was surprised too. I got an extra battery for it. This thing, I didn't realize these things would run without a battery.
Yeah, mine runs without a battery too. But the problem is the generator will overgenerate and burn out your bulbs.
Oh.
So the battery kind of acts like a voltage regulator, even if it's bad.
I put a halogen bulb in here. I cut the back of the bulb off, and I seen a guy on YouTube that did it.
Oh, I can see it in there. Yeah.
Cut the back of the bulb off, and you glue in a halogen bulb, and it's a lot brighter. And I don't know if it uses any I think it uses less electricity. I think.
Interesting. I put a dry cell in my bike, one of those Sheree or whatever they're called, those dry cells, because the lead acid battery would go dead and then it would go bad just from sitting 1 year. So I was always having to replace the lead acid battery. I put that dry cell. It's been in it since I restored it. Yeah. No problems. It's always charged. I turn the key on. It always has a charge.
This one's dead. So.
Yep, that's the way mine is. With the lead acid, every time I turn the key on, the battery would be
because I got one up in the upstairs. I got it upstairs, but it doesn't have the electrolyte in it or whatever that stuff is. It's dry right now, so if I needed it, I could, you know.
That's super cool. Twin cylinder.
No, single cylinder.
Two valve.
Exhaust. I don't know what that was all about.
Interesting.
There's one identical to this on Craigslist right now. Yep. So
yeah,
I've
good
had
shape.
This for about 25 years probably.
79?
79, yep. What I really want is like an SL.
Uh-huh.
But they get big dollars for those.
My dad had a CB350.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Kind of that yellowish green colored one.
Yeah. And then I had a blue one. It was a little newer one that I picked up just to fix and sell. Bought it from Bob Dashke's neighbor, the blue one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was it, it was a CB also?
Yeah, CB350. It was a year or two newer than my dad's one.
I wanted an SL350, and my uncle had one. And I told him, I says, man, if you ever sell this thing, let me know. And then we, you know, 10 years went by. Hey, whatever. Oh, no, I gave it to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I would have liked to have had it, because that's when they still had the chrome rims and steel fenders, you know.
My fenders are plastic, but the rims are chrome.
Is a 76 then.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. And then the wheel horse. I know one of, I'm thinking your dad's, this was your dad's, I'm thinking it was a 76 because I remember working on it.
Could be.
And this is yours, the 78.
I used that one for years. That's got a hydrostatic trans on it. It's pretty handy.
Got a pretty good sized Kohler sitting there. 16 horse maybe?
Yeah, yeah. 16, I think this is a 14.
Uh-huh.
But growing up, both my grandfathers had wheel horses. My dad had one, and then I got one.
I remember your dad walking up to your grandpa's house and getting it to plow the snow in the wintertime, yeah.
And that was only an 8-horse.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Yep. And keeping the Cadillac in the wagon, right?
Yeah, that's all I have in here. At one time I had this stuffed full of cars. Now I'm down to 2.
Yeah, I like that wagon.
It's a good driver. It's by no means, you know, original or anything. You know, it's got tinted. You put the tinted
film in it.
Film on it because this thing was out in the desert.
Oh yeah, you'd need to do that. The big windows, the vistas. Remember that one? Didn't one of your uncles have one with the glass on the roof?
Might have. I know Backenstos has had one. They had one like the 70s show one. It was just like that one.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. I remember Kirk used to drive it to school now and then. Then they had that 70 LeSabre, and we're turning off of 23 Mile Road onto Van Dyke, and we got T-boned by a Dodge Dart, and it absolutely totaled that LeSabre. The Dart was drivable. The Dart drove away. The LeSabre had to be towed.
This guy did a lot of goofy stuff to this car. For one thing, he put all LED lights in it. He put LED lights in the dash, so that it all has that bluish hue to it.
It's not that original feel, yeah.
You can see what he did to the radio. He actually did a fairly decent job of installing it, but that radio doesn't belong in this car.
No.
I've got the original radio, but I'm guessing the dash underneath that.
He added gauges there too.
He just did a lot of functified things.
That's what happens with these cars over the year. People butcher and change things. So when you find one without a cut-up dash, it's actually kind of rare.
Well, that's like the Buick up there, you know, or that still has the AM radio. Some teenager didn't get a hold of it and put a super tuner or something in it, you know, or
totally.
But he stuck that antenna. Now, why he stuck it in? You know, if you're gonna stick, I understand that them windshield antennas weren't worth the crap.
Right.
But if you're gonna put it somewhere,
put it on the fender,
where at least it belongs. It doesn't belong back there. Now I got to leave it there because I got a hole there. Now.
Well.
Oh well, but it's still a cool car, you know.
I like your President Ford sticker there. That is super cool. Yep, he became president when Nixon resigned. Yeah, I like the wagon.
Whoever repainted it, they did a fairly good job.
I think it's got a great paint job on it. No, I think the car looks amazing. And you sold the gray Cadillac, right?
Sold the gray one, yeah. And this thing is super solid too. I mean, you can tell, I mean...
Yeah, no rust in here.
Right. I mean, that would be gone within the first 3 years if that was driven in Michigan.
Yeah, this would be history.
Yeah, the only spot I found any rust on it was in the wheel well, the spare tire wheel well. In the bottom of that. It must hold moisture down on
that was the first place they want.
You know. Other than that...
All wagons, the spare tire hole was the first part to rot out on them. Because they sat upright and they held the dirt and moisture under the tire tread. Yeah. Just so my viewers that aren't familiar with these old wagons, that's where the spare tire sits. And I showed this on that 67 Country Sedan also, this part. Very first part to go on wagons.
I mean, it's got a hole in there, but it's still, I mean, it's still fairly solid. I mean, it's not.
The hole is minor.
I don't know.
It's right there. And it's just so minor. I mean, that would be, you wouldn't even have to repaint the body to repair. You could make a new bottom for that and weld it in and not even have to touch the paint.
Paint it black.
Yep, totally. Totally. And actually, I wouldn't even bother with it.
I did.
It's a 76, you know. And you don't drive it in the crummy weather.
You know, I'll tell you where, you talk about screwing up not buying a car. There was one identical to this. It was in 1975. In fact, if you Google it, it'll probably come up. It would have been one of the nicest clamshell. Probably would have been one of the nicest ones in the country. I could have bought it probably about 7 years ago. A guy down in Indiana had it. He wanted $19,000. Same color scheme as this, except it was loaded. Power windows, I mean, and it was original paint. 18,000 miles on it.
Wow.
Or no, it's 16,000 miles on it. You wanted 19,000. And at the time, just looking at pictures of it, I offered him 16 for it. And he wouldn't take it because he was sending it to Meekham's. And I think it sold for 17.5 at Meekham's. So by the time he paid his...
he lost money.
By the time he paid a commission on that, right. Otherwise, I'd have had that one. And that one was... Like I say, that one had everything. Power window. This one's got crank up windows.
What were these things? Probably about $6,000 brand new?
Yeah, probably right around there. Yeah.
My dad's Country Squire was 54 brand new. So this is a little newer, so probably about $7,000. And it's a little more top of the line. It's an Oldsmobile, not a Ford. So maybe 7,500. Maybe some of my viewers will know and they can leave a comment on what a 76 Custom Cruiser costs brand new. That was the first year of the rectangular headlights.
Still a cool car. For, but that other car would have been, I mean, funny that some of them go for like on Bring a Trailer. I don't know if you ever seen that site.
Yeah.
I mean, that car would be a $40,000, no lie, $40,000, easily a $40,000 car right now.
The market's really gone nuts too.
If I would have stepped up that extra $3,000, I should have, but whatever.
Yeah, especially wagons are so hot right now. That's why, another reason why I wanted to look at that Ford. The number one reason was because I like them. and I just could not check it out. But
I'll back this out.
Okay.
Take her out.
Okay, we'll go for a ride in the 59 Cadillac. Man, does that sound good. This would have a 394 barrel in it. Oh, sorry, the light was turned off. I think you guys have seen this car in videos, but not running. So now we're going to see it running. That thing sounds awesome. Sounds like a brand new car.
Resonators on the
I
back.
saw that, yeah.
They need a little touch-up work because they rusted out on the bottoms where the moisture sits in them. But I believe those are original because they don't, as far as I know, they don't reproduce.
Yeah, it's all welded and stuff. I eliminated the resonators on my Bel Air. The 348 cars had resonators. I was replacing them every 2 years, so I just eliminated them. Yeah.
Choke the tip down.
Yeah. It's got a Rochester Ford jet. That thing sounds sweet. Power brakes, wagon power booster. Battery up here in the front.
This was supposed to be temporary, but ended up being permanent. I made a new battery box for it so I could fit a commercial battery in it. I still have the original battery box for it.
All the original AC stuff still on it and everything. Yeah, that's a sweet running 390. Look at that upholstery. It's got like chrome thread in it.
I had a guy that was interested in this car from Sweden, and he was here in the spring, and I took him for a ride out in it. But he had bought two of my flat tops. So he wanted to buy this one too. Yeah, maybe someday I'll sell it to him.
Underbar radio?
Yeah, it still works, so I've got to wait for the tubes to warm up though. It'll come on in about 20 seconds.
Is that red dot, did that light up when you turned it on?
Yeah. It'll come on any second now.
Yeah, my Bel Air's got tubes. Oh, there it goes. Okay, the volume's down now, so.
But it'll find the next station. Yeah. You know what? I got the antenna turned way down. I'll try it.
Oh, you can change the antenna for how close you are.
Yeah, because I had it on the other day, and it's really sensitive to static, like power,
okay.
Power line static and that. And I turned it down, but
and that reduces power line static when you do that.
It does.
Interesting, because that's the problem I have with mine and the Chevy is you get. Like,
oh yeah,
I can tell a lightning storm coming for 2 hours in advance.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
It says 53,000 miles. Is that all original?
That's it.
Got an ashtray here too.
Yep,
power window.
Power window.
And a crank in the vent. Some of the, I think it was the Eldorados, or some of them had a power vent window too.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing about these, like a 59 Cadillac, it was all the same sheet metal, all the same body. It was just different levels of trim.
Yep.
You know?
Is this the Hydromatic in this?
Yeah, 4-speed, yep. A little bit chilly out today.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the first day of fall it cooled off and it's stayed cool since. Yeah, this thing's... I can see why the guy wanted the car. Rides like a brand new car. You don't even feel the bumps.
Yeah, I was talking to that guy from Sweden. Really nice guy, and just kind of felt bad for him. Everything that's going on over there right now, you know, they're right there
against your crane, yeah.
Right. And I mean, they were a little bit concerned. They're probably a little less concerned now. I don't think Russia thought that this was going to go as rough as it is. So
yeah,
I don't think they're in a position to.
I think Putin thought he was just going to waltz in and say your crane's mine, and the Ukrainians were like, no.
So I felt, he had his whole family with him. Real nice folks.
His whole family came here.
Yeah. I think he was just here looking at cars. He was all over the country checking out. He bought.
Which one of the flat tops did he buy?
He bought the Impala and the Pontiac.
Okay.
Bonneville.
that's not only Cadillac. I've had to have on other GM, like with this, the 60 Chevy I had did that, and I had to replace the rubber on the windshield. The windshield got broken, so I just changed the glass and the rubber at the same time. They're actually, they look like they're a pain in the butt, but they're really not too bad. You got to take all your trim off, exterior and interior, and you got to take your headliner down a little bit. But when you go to put the glass in, it's touching up here and here, and you can put your fist through here. But you start pulling the rope out, pull the leather strip over the pinch weld, drops right in. I've changed the windshield in my Bel Air 5 times over the past 40-some years I've owned it.
Yeah.
I won't have a glass company do it. I had them do a glass company do it once, and it leaked, and they screwed it all up, and that's the last time I've done it myself ever since.
Does Shelby do glass?
They do.
Yeah.
But I don't trust a lot of these glass. They don't get enough of these cars for the guys to know how to do them. They're used to doing the urethane stuff, you know, that they can do in your driveway or at your place of work. You know, this is more of an all-day job. You know, by the time you get all the trim off, and you got to be careful because it's a classic car, so you don't want to damage anything or get anything cruddy. So they're a lot more work. But I've changed a number of these, and in the 59 I even changed the back glass on the Bel Air because it had clear glass originally. I put the Easy Eye glass in it.
I got 2 extra pieces I picked up in Chicago when I was driving through one time. Guy had a couple pieces. That's when I had all the flat tops. Man, that'd be a good idea to have. You want to grab a sandwich or something? There's a little sandwich shop here.
Sure, why not?
Looks like there's no parking there.
This is downtown Memphis again. I came in through here. I came here down, took Bell River to Boardman there and came in there. Alright, we'll make a video when we get going back.
This is a neat little town.
Yeah, I always like, used to be a junkyard up here that specialized in Chrysler products.
Yeah.
And I used to go there all the time to get parts when I used to flip cars, and you know, because Kevin worked in the Chrysler dealer, so he'd get these Chryslers all the time with bad engines or transmissions.
We got our own marijuana store now too.
Oh yeah, sure enough. Yep. There, we'll get the car starting warm. Pickup for a Halloween decoration there.
That's here all the time.
Is it?
Yep. Part of their sign.
And of course the water tower.
Take you by that old school. It's really cool. They restored it. It was the high school, and they restored it and turned it into apartments. There. Isn't that a neat building?
Yeah, it is. That was Memphis High School?
Yep.
Bell Terrace, old schoolhouse apartments. Yeah.
Somebody put a lot of work into that thing, huh?
I'll say. Looks like a new building. An old architecture, new building.
I think there's a date on it somewhere. 1915 or something.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't see one. Pretty nice. Get to see a little bit of Memphis. In a 59 Cadillac.
So, I don't know if you remember when we went to the Harper Cruise last year, that spot we had?
Yeah.
The guy that kind of set it up that allowed us to get that spot was Denny. I don't know if you remember.
I met him,
Denny,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He lived right down here. He had a 41 Chevy. 41 Chevy hot rod.
Nice garage there.
He lived right here. I don't know if they still, I think they sold his car. He passed away. Then he passed away last spring.
Some nice houses down in here.
Pretty neat little town. Kind of a little bit secluded. Forgot to ask Donna what county this was. I think this is Macomb.
Be very northern.
It is. Right, it is. Yeah, because that road we were just on
It would be the county line, yeah.
But I used to bring my granddaughter when she's 16 now, but when she was 2, this was our park. We'd go to that donut shop there, then we'd walk over to this park. And yeah. Now she's all grown up and driving her own car. And she could care less. I want to say she could care less.
No interest in cars.
I miss those days. That's a 1957 gas station right there. You don't see many gas stations set up that way anymore.
No, you don't. They've all been bulldozed and replaced with those quickie marts.
Yep.
I remember when we used to ride our mini bikes and go-karts at the bank, and we'd go across to Bathurst service. That place was...
Yep. Remember that? There was like 3 gas stations. There was the Oak, the Leonard, and the Clark.
Yep.
All within like 300 feet of each other.
And I remember a quarter would fill our gas can. We'd ride all day on a gallon of gas. We'd have our spit fights riding the go-kart, and I was getting ready to hack a loogie out on my brother as I was past. I hit the curb to the bank and bent the frame up and went over the handlebars and into the grass. I remember I broke the go-kart in half. We had to take it out to the park where my dad welded it back together.
See, that's the thing. Kids these days, they don't mess around with that kind of stuff.
No.
Go-karts or mini bikes or taking an engine off a lawnmower and putting it on a something, you know?
Yeah.
Now kids, hey Dad, take me to the farm store and buy me this $600 Chinese mini bike.
Yeah.
You know? All done and just hit the key and go.
My dad would, or my mom would take me in the station wagon around Romeo on garbage day, load up with whatever I could find that had gas engines. Fix it. Well, you used to do the same.
Yeah,
we both did it.
We both bought one of those
Rios, yeah.
I was trying to remember exactly where that place
Eastside
was at.
Salvage.
Yeah.
That became a Yamaha dealer there. It's kind of right almost where the freeway is now, where the bypass.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
The people have moved. You know that court that Hockleys live in? The street you go up Benjamin, almost toward ends, and you do a left on that street Hockleys live in?
Yeah.
That house right there on the right corner is where they moved to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think we bought them things for like $5 a piece, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Put them in the back of your Mazda station wagon.
Yeah.
I probably should have bought that car, but I don't know. Whatever. That was a lot of driving that day. We drove all the way to Madison and back. It was like 1,100 miles.
Yeah, it was. Those fins are a little different looking out on than in my Chevy. Yeah, it was a long ride.
Yeah, I don't know, that car was just kind of roached out compared to what I remember it. You know?
When we sold it, when I sold it to James, it still looked showroom new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
It was disappointing. We sold it in 2002.
So that was what? That was 3 years ago when we went and looked at it?
Yeah, about
2 or 3 years ago. looked like they used some of that Zepp industrial cleaner on the paint.
Paint, yeah, it really did it in, didn't it? I like to get a little video outside the car.
This guy here that has these beans, he's got like 600 acres across the street.
They're all ready to harvest.
Yeah, they look like it, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe they're not dry enough yet.
I don't see any green out there at all. I saw a bean field with corn growing in it. That's going to be a fun harvest. Oh, there's the center outlet.
Yeah, it's got AC. Just needs some attention, that's all.
Well, I mean, look at the age of the car. What do you expect, you know? An original car. I like those shades up here.
They were in the guy out in California, that Cadillac that I got out there. These were in the glove box, so that's still left over from the silver Cadillac. Yeah, I wasn't gonna get rid of those.
No, heck no. Those just scream cool.
Yeah. Those would get you laughed at probably 30 years ago, you know. Look at that old dude. What's the big sunglasses
I would totally
on?
wear those driving this car. You'd be totally in. Oh, you gotta get the dash lights. That's one thing I always show in my videos is dash
I don't know
lights.
if it'll show up in here.
Yeah, they'll show up. I think they will. You can kind of see
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep. Well, there you go. Nice ride in the Cadillac. Yep.
And someday if I go to sell it, I'll make reference to it.
To the video.
What I did on that El Camino. See, that's another thing I don't know how to do, is how to take and reference your...
Go on the video, and when you're on the video, go up in your upper bar and copy the link to the video,
right,
and then paste it into where you want it. If you want it in your eBay auction, just go to your eBay, in your description, Command C will copy it on your keyboard, and then when you get it to where you want it, click to where, you know, your thing's blinking, your cursor where you type, Command V will paste it.
You lost me.
I'll write it down for you.
If I ever go to do it, I'll call you.
Yeah, I'll write it. It's super easy to do.
I bought one of these stupid mouse traps. I bought it for my when I had my trailer still.
I've seen those. They work pretty good.
It's not doing any too good out here. You know, they climb up this thing here, and I got peanut butter stuck on the top of there. It's still in there. It's still there. And then they fall down into the bucket. And it's been out there for about 2 months, and I haven't gotten a mouse yet here. I did get them in the trailer, though.
Get some...
Because I wanted something that would... that I could leave in there, and I didn't have to keep checking every... You know, like a mouse trap, regular mouse trap. That would... that I could leave in there over the winter, you know.
Get some oatmeal or sunflower seeds and mix in with
I do. I have...
okay.
What kind of seeds did I put in there? I had some bird seed left
That'll
over. I think it was sunflower seeds. So I had peanut butter with
seed stuck
in it.
That looks like it's ready to go cruising.
Well, that was my granddaughter's, and I don't have the heart to throw it away.
It's kind of neat.
We actually wore the wheels right off of it. Here's the drive wheel. It's got a big flat spot on it.
Yeah.
Wore right through. You know, it's kind of like when I see these people, like, it's like a sad day, like when you drive past somebody's garbage and they got their Barbie kitchen out in the garbage, you know, it's the end of an era.
Yeah, totally.
You know? And that's kind of the way I feel about this.
It's like when I go to estate sale, sometimes it's difficult.
I can remember all the good times that my granddaughter had, because that's when I had all my motorcycles, you know, and she said, well, I want a Harley too, Grandpa, and I seen this one on Craigslist. and it was $15, and I just had to get a battery for it. So the battery was $80. But
it's neat though, and you see this. Yeah, I wouldn't get rid of it either. You just don't see that kind of stuff.
Kind of beat up, kind of weathered, kind of.
Yeah, but it's used. No, when I go to estate sales, it's like, you know, I'm looking at everything that's from our generation when we were kids, you know, and it's kind of, sometimes it's kind of hard.
Still got a Barbie Jeep out here too, but that I bought brand new. At the time I thought it was overpriced. It was $280, but I'll tell you what, got the 3 granddaughters grew up on that Barbie Jeep. I had to keep buying batteries for it every once in a while. But
well, that gives you your money's worth.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed the ride, that's for sure. I like this mirror. Does it pivot here?
It does. It's got an inside remote.
Oh, no kidding.
But it's yeah. You know, it's a mechanical inside.
Like a Bowden cable that works it?
Yep. It's on the dash, or on the, not the dash, the
right there.
Right there, yep.
Okay.
So you do that, and it you twist it, and it goes all over the place. I usually just set it by hand.
Yeah.
Kind of inconvenient to use that.
Yeah, if you're driving it in the snow and the rain and cold and windy day, that might help out.
Yeah. I got some NOS plugs, which you want them?
Sure.
When I get rid of the El Camino,
okay,
I'll give them to you. And some of them have very low mile. They're the 45s,
44s,
44 ends.
Yeah.
Some of them I sandblasted, but they were some of them are brand new. Yeah, I'll give you that stuff. Let me make sure that seal goes through the car.
Totally, I get it. Yeah.
I'll give you that pump, and here's a speaker. That's not the right one. I got a speaker for it. Chevy door mirrors. Speaker, right here, I got a speaker for it. Don't mind that, it's just bat shit. I got a bat that lives up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a cheap reproduction speaker. It's nothing to brag about. But that is the radio for that Oldsmobile.
Oh, okay. So you do have it. Good
Got
deal.
a bunch of Harley stuff.
Yeah, to see if you can get the one with the 8-track.
Is that not? No, it isn't, is it? See, that other wagon had all that stuff. It had the 8-track. It was loaded. These are front bearings.
Front wheel bearings.
These are
ball bearings.
NOS ball bearings for the Cadillac.
Yeah, those, they go bad because people don't set the preload on the bearing correctly. The ball bearings have to have a little bit of preload on them.
Right?
If you leave them finger tight like you do roller bearings, you go through ball bearings like candy. You follow what the shop manual says. You torque them down to like 20 foot-pounds while you're torquing them, back them off, and then retorque them. And I think it's like 4 or 5 foot-pounds. I don't remember the spec, but if you do it exactly to the factory specs, they last forever. People used to change their hubs to go to roller bearings on those old Chevs, and I used to tell them,
if I get rid of that Cadillac or that El Camino, I'll give you. You probably had all this stuff. You probably don't want it. I'll tell you what. If you don't want it, I'll leave it here, and if you need it,
okay.
You know,
no,
that's the original
valve covers and
valve
stuff.
Covers. Here, you know what? I took this is out of that '59 Buick. So you buy them rebuild kits for your fuel pumps online. Thing lasted me about 4 days, and it was a real chintzy. You know, the valves that you press into the thing. I took one out of this 60-year-old pump and put it in and it's using it in that Cadillac to this day. It's better than that Chinese crap that they give you to rebuild it with.
I actually save all the old bad fuel pumps just for parts. Yeah. You're totally right on that.
There's some other stuff in here.
Those are reproduced, but the moldings around the hood are not.
That's El Camino only.
That's new old stock, is it? Or that's
no,
undented?
No, it's...
Because they had like a black plastic. Oh yeah, that's just paint.
Yeah.
Because they put like a black plastic, like plastic over them that they'd dip them in. You'd have to peel it off. Yeah, that's just paint on that one. Is that the original distributor?
That's a battery tray out of, yeah, that's the original distributor out of the, yep. Which that has a, that one I'm probably going to pull the, that's got Pertronics on it. And probably will eventually, next time I have to change the points
in
on
the Cadillac,
I'm going to put that Pertronics.
Yeah, totally.
Dash out of a 60 Cadillac. All the interior trim out of a 60 Cadillac. I tried selling that stuff. I think I asked like $100 for all that stuff, and no response. You got to be at the NOS door guards for a '59 Buick. The train set. Oh,
okay. The old train set from our basement in Romeo. That was the subdivision sign for the neighborhood when we moved into the house. I'm gonna try not and dump those. Anyway, yeah, the tracks and everything's on the other side, and the two pieces go together. My dad made it so it'd come apart and fold up. Yeah, I'm glad you got it. And this was all out of your grandpa's place.
Yeah.
Wow, these are nice.
I don't know if any woodworkers out there. Look at this board here. You just don't find boards like that.
No.
Walnut. That's what, 16 inches wide?
At least.
Whole stack of them.
Your grandpa made amazing furniture, man. I couldn't believe the furniture he built. It was just absolutely amazing. What did your grandpa do?
Well, he worked at Fisher Body. His last best job was at Fisher Body, but he worked at different mills doing, you know, like for like them old houses in Rome.
Yeah, but when he worked at Fisher Body, didn't he make stuff for the wood?
He made the models for back when cars were made out of, the models were made out of wood.
Wood, okay.
They take the, and they make like they'd make the whole car out of wood. They'd take that wood and put it, that wooden model, and they would make a plaster cast of it. They'd take that plaster cast, put it on this giant duplicating mill. It's called a Keller. And these machines were huge, and they held the parts standing up. So all the chips would fall out as they're machining them. They would have a plaster part here that was would be like an indentation of that fender. They'd make it out of steel right next to it, and that was the stamping die.
Okay.
You know, so I mean there was a lot of
different way of doing things in that era.
Today, but.
Yeah. It would have been interesting to be able to talk to your grandpa and have a video of him talking about how doing that. The stories he used to tell us when we were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. About when they buried all those cars from the 30s there in Romeo. And then when they were digging that area up to build those condos, they dug all those cars up. Yeah, that was kind of neat.
That's a piece of ironwood that Grandpa had. F that once. Be ready for it.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
This stuff is so hard, so dense. I made Cheryl a sewing box. I made the handles out of that. It's kind of hard to work with just because it's really brittle. But yeah, that's all. This is all cherry. That's cherry. Maple, a little more cherry, but majority of what he used was walnut. This was all stacked in his barn.
He made a grandfather clock, as I remember. Didn't he? Yeah. And I think most of the furniture in his house he made, didn't he?
Yep. Yeah. In fact, if you want, before you take off, we can take I got that grandfather clock in my kitchen.
I'd love to see it, yeah. So this was your grandpa's, and you say it's a 49 Clinton?
49 Clinton.
Built in Clinton, Michigan. Trying to turn it here. It's even got a Carter carburetor. Old J8 spark plug. Yeah, it's the same carburetor, basic carburetor as that Rio engine I have. Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Father made that from wood, and he actually harvested the wood that was on Tilson Street.
Oh,
So
this is from a tree on Tilson.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, that's to me, that's
a true family heirloom.
I make stuff like I made this. I can make stuff as long as it's all straight moldings and stuff. I can make stuff with a machine. My grandfather was an artist. I'm not an artist. I like to make stuff. If I can make it with a machine, I can make it. You know, with the router or whatever. We're making this kind of molding and making these kind of transitions and stuff. I wouldn't have a clue.
I mean, look at the grain in here.
Oh,
like
yeah.
He specifically, obviously, picked a certain part of the wood to use there. Yeah.
So, yeah, you can see right. I don't know if it show up in your video or not. I think it says 1974 there. That's the year he made it.
Built by Ernie Gates. Yep, 1974. Sure does show up. Wow.
Yeah, he worked on this for every bit of a year, probably. In that tiny little garage shop.
Yeah, I remember going over there. Like I say, we'd go over there and we'd walk over there and he'd give us money to go to the Dairy Queen and he'd be working on stuff. And I was always just amazed at what he built there. Yeah, I would have been like 13 years old in 1974. Super cool. I appreciate you showing me the clock and my viewers. Yeah. So he made this also?
Yep.
I like those hinges. This thing's super nice. Yeah, I remember his furniture was just amazing that he made. That's the ironwood on the handle.
Yep.
And it even looks like iron there too. Like brush, what do they call it? Brush. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just finished this up probably 2 weeks ago.
Super nice.
Got about 4 or 5 different kinds of wood. And that other side opens the same way. Get it back in the same spot. First you'll know I've been messing with it. You know, today anything like that would be done on a CNC machine. It'd be no big deal. He did all that by hand.
Wow. Does the center light up?
It does. I don't know whether
it's not plugged in. Or,
yeah. Center lights up, but and he built 2 of these. You know, there's a matching. My grandmother's got the other one. My grandmother's 102 years old. She's still around and still alive.
I was wondering. Well, that's good. Yeah.
But to have the patience to carve all that
yeah.
and do it for 2 lamps, to me is
and the shade
phenomenal.
Is like perfect on it too.
Or to carve that and not have a chunk blow out.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's pretty amazing. No, I don't have the.
Get a close up over here.
I don't have the patience or the ability to do something like that. Is off of the on a Corvair station wagon.
Okay.
They had vents up on the quarter
sides,
panel on the sides. This was one of them. Now this is a material that they would make the whole car out of. It's not like wood, like a regular piece of wood. It's like It's like a lamination of.
I can see the joints. Yeah.
But I mean, it is wood. It's just a glued up lamination of woods. So they would make the whole car out of that, and that would be the model.
Okay.
You know. But it's still, I don't have my glasses on, but I think that was a 1960. Does it have a date on there?
Yep.
1960?
5960. It's actually the 60s first, but yeah, it does. Probably the part number too, which is 6275824. Interesting. Yeah.
Probably the only one left.
You're probably right. And which machines were your grandpa's that are in here?
This lathe, it's a 1946 Logan, which that thing is handy. I use it all the time for making little, little trinkets, little washers, little bolts, little something, because I got a big lathe if I want to make something bigger. But that was his. This bandsaw was his. That's around 1970 you got this, but like all these blue machines, this one, that little shaper, and this little joiner, they were Craftsman, but at the time Craftsman was quality, top quality stuff.
Oh, totally.
And this, this was actually made by, I believe this was a Walker Turner. I think that was it was either Atlas or King Sealy, the shaper. And this saw was an Atlas. But they were all 1939. And he still had all the tags that were on them.
We got a table saw like this up north that was from Lucille, her husband's. Probably the same vintage, but the motor on the side. And it's really a quality table saw. It makes good, straight, true cuts. And
now you can see the motor's been replaced, so something must have happened to the motor.
Then Sears went downhill, just outsourcing to companies that just made cheap garbage. Yeah, what a shame.
But okay, now this joiner came out of the tank plant because my grandpa I remember Grandpa bringing this home in the trunk of a '67 Caprice.
He had to take it apart a little bit, wouldn't you think, or did he leave it together?
No, I think he left it together.
He left the trunk open a little bit?
He bought it at an auction. So if I remember right, the tank plant was owned by Chrysler up until the mid-'70s, and that's when I think General Dynamics bought it. So I'm guessing that's when the auction was, somewhere in the mid-'70s, maybe 73 to 77, somewhere in there. Maybe he
put the feet out one of the rust holes by then. I remember that car rotted out pretty bad.
From what I remember, it is he was able to load it there because they had forklifts at the auction site, and they set it in his trunk, and it was hanging out the back. This thing was hanging out of his trunk. The problem was getting it home and getting it out of the trunk. So I remember having he had a bunch of his buddies come over, and they got it out. So that's got a little bit of history.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
I do have the original. He put this motor on it. I do have the original 3-phase motor on it, which does have a military tag on it. So I know that
it's from the tank plant.
Right, from the tank plant. Leona, Ohio, that was made. This is probably one of their smallest joiners they made, one of the smaller ones. But for a home shop guy, good size.
Yeah, totally.
And it's got a little bit of history to it.
Yeah. Yeah, your grandpa's shop, I remember that on the wall, and he had
that's from Fisher Body where he worked. He must have had owned some GM stock, because it was, I don't have my glasses on, but
July
it says...
11th, 1966, yeah. GM stock, 84 7/8. Friday, production Friday, 15/2/81. And then Dave said this is probably when we used to go there and visit and sit in a stool, and he'd always emphasize that we don't touch anything, but I remember sitting on the stools there all the time. That was out of his shop, so that probably is the stool. Yep. And then he'd give us a quarter to walk up to the Dairy Queen. And a quarter would get you a big ice cream back then.
Yeah, still there too.
Yep, sure is.
This is the phone he had down in the down under the cupboards. Still use it. Still got a dial tone. I don't know if you can hear it.
It might turn out in the video sound.
My grandkids get a kick out of this, using the dial, you know.
Well, that's a thing of the past. I mean, those have been history for 40 years.
So I found that, his buddy that lived across the street, work for Michigan Bell. So I found the remnants of another phone. There are a bunch of pieces of phones, so I put this one together. The problem you have with the phones today, you can get them to work, but the line voltage usually isn't enough to make the ringers work. Oh. They're pretty anemic the way they ring. But yeah, that one works, and it's kind of, I call this one my bat phone. I don't know if you remember the bat phone. It was all red.
Yeah.
I couldn't find a red dial for it. But
that's neat that you got. I got an old wall phone.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll work. I looked on YouTube, and there's a way to rewire these things. You got to switch, I think just switch 2 wires inside of here to make them work on a modern line. Like I say, other than the ringers. And I got...
You got a bell up there.
So I got a bell, a ringer in this, and then a ringer in that phone. So that doesn't help things any. But that ringer is out of my old shop down in Fraser. So I don't know. I just figured I'd get it going, and I don't know. You know how it is. You get something old and you remember from years ago. And
yep. My dad has an oil can collection, and I'm going to bring it home. I had found an oil can yesterday in a estate sale.
Oh, yeah?
That is super neat. A high quality lubricating oil. Huh. Doesn't really have any dates on it, but it's definitely old.
For sure.
That probably came from the Texaco there in the Four Corners of Romeo.
Yeah.
When it was there. Yeah.
Good.
Carl Deptford's Texaco. Yep. This is a street that Dave's grandpa lived on, and it's known for its Halloween decorations. It's thousands, tens of thousands of people come through here at Halloween. And they sold the house here a year or so ago. And looks like they're doing some revamping, but that garage right there after the carport, that was his grandpa's workshop, his wood shop. That was where his grandpa lived. Anyway, we're gonna head on home. I just thought I'd take a little detour by here, seeing I was coming through Romeo. Yeah, they probably go through hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of candy. It gets nuts here Halloween. And the Dairy Queen I was talking about, David's grandpa would give us money to go to get ice cream, is this one right here. Yeah, it's still here. Yeah, they even did it up for Halloween, Dairy Queen. This is the street I lived on that I grew up on, and they got it closed because they're gonna resurface it. It needed it desperately. Looks like they had the surfacing equipment there right now. Obviously I'm on my way home now, so I hope you enjoyed the looking at the Country Sedan, which I didn't buy in the visit with Dave. I've known Dave since I was 3 and he was 4, so we've basically known one another our whole lives. We grew up 2 houses apart from one another and used to work on cars, mini bikes, go-karts, everything together. And very close with his family. He's close with our family. And so, you know, and I know all his grandparents and everyone knew him very well. So, yeah, I can relate to everything we were talking about. But anyway, yeah, his grandpa Gates was a extremely talented craftsman when it came to woodworking. So he wanted to, you know, share that with some of you guys too. It was super interesting, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And I hope you all leave a like button after seeing the Country Sedan, going for a ride in a '59 Cadillac, and all woodworking stuff and stuff his grandpa made. So anyway, if you do, you know, leave a like on that like button, the thumbs up. That helps. And subscribe. That 348 engine icon there that pops up will subscribe you. And thank you for watching my video.